when a detainee is brought into police custody. The custody officer is responsible for determining what property the detainee has with them, often achieved through a search. The custody officer may either conduct the search personally or authorize a constable to do so. Authorization and the scope of the search must be defined before it can commence. To protect detainee rights, there are 3 levels of searches, each governed by specific rules. These are non-intrusive searches, strip searches, and intimate searches. While custody officers can authorize non-intrusive and strip searches, only an inspector or higher can authorize an intimate search. A non-intrusive search applies to most detainees and involves removing and checking outer garments like coats, shoes, and socks. The detainee is also required to empty their pockets and remove any jewelry. If there is any ambiguity about whether a search exceeds this level, it should be considered a strip search to avoid complications. A strip search involves removing more than just outer clothing and is conducted if there is a need to find an article a detainee is not permitted to have. Strip searches should not be routine and must be based on reasonable suspicion of concealed items. They must be conducted by an officer of the same gender and in a private area where the detainee cannot be seen by unnecessary persons or members of the opposite sex, except for a specifically assigned appropriate adult. Generally, at least 2 people besides the detainee must be present, especially if the detainee is a juvenile or vulnerable person. Intimate searches are a physical examination of body orifices other than the mouth, such as the nose, ears, anus, and vagina. Intimate searches require authorization from an inspector or above and must be conducted with sensitivity and respect for the detainee's dignity. These searches are necessary due to the higher risk of causing serious physical harm compared to the mouth. According to Section 54, a detainee should be searched if the custody officer has ongoing responsibilities towards them, or if their behavior or the nature of the offense warrants it. If a detainee will only be held briefly, a search might not be necessary. If a search is not conducted, this must be recorded in the custody log signed by the detainee. If the detainee refuses to sign, the custody officer is obligated to search them to account for their possessions. For a strip search, if intimate body parts are exposed, at least 2 individuals must be present, except in urgent situations where there is an immediate risk of serious harm. Detainees should not be required to remove all clothing simultaneously during a strip search, which should be conducted swiftly to minimize discomfort and allow the detainee to dress as soon as possible. The custody record must include the reason for the strip search, those present, and the results. If necessary, reasonable force may be used to carry out the search.